Well, hello everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Welcome back to this special primetime episode of Big Brain Boogaloo, sponsored by the big monies at YouTube. Today, we will be doing everything from talking positively about YouTube's monetization paradigm to also speaking positively about their algorithm and their effective false subscriber management. Hi, Astro. Welcome back, Master Ian. Today should hopefully be a very good one.
Yes, very, very important things to go over here.
Oh ho ho! Overwatch 2, Anniversary, Chaos, Rework Bastion, all the things that we care about, clustered together as one. How are you, Ian?
I'm great, as always. Thank you so much for having me on again.
So, I suppose we should start with this Overwatch 2 thing, because this is pretty heavy stuff.
Toasty.
Very toasty. So, if you haven't heard, basically, I think it was about a week ago now, very credible esports journalist, Jason Schreier, he basically wrote a Kotaku article about how basically Blizzard has canceled a planned StarCraft 2 FPS, and what they're doing instead is moving a lot of their resources and especially their writing teams and stuff like that to Diablo and Overwatch. And he's saying that there will be a Overwatch 2, which I think is very interesting just by itself, but especially because he's saying that the main focus of said Overwatch 2 will be PvE. So, that is interesting. That's very interesting.
Beautiful.
And I think it's a sensible conclusion to say that this is probably why we haven't been getting a lot of lore info, because if they're putting a lot of effort into PvE, the logical assumption is that this is going to be story-based, finally. So, at last, we might actually get Overwatch lore, and maybe this is what Michael Chu has been up to. Maybe they haven't actually locked him in the basement. Maybe they've actually just been doing this. Maybe he's locked in the basement doing this instead.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Like they feed him through like one of those tubes that they used to have where you would put things in them and they'd shoot them really fast, up into like this system.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
That's how they feed him.
Yeah, exactly. Oh god. But yeah, I think this sounds really interesting. What do you guys have to say about it?
You want me to go first, or Zach?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, of course, Ian, please.
Okay, so the idea of making a separate game or a separate expansion or whatever to handle like the PvE side and the story side is absolutely a better idea than trying to cram it all into the PvP game. And it's funny because, of course, Jeff Kaplan and I think some of the other devs too have literally been saying this for years. They're like, oh, well, if we want to make a huge PvE, mode or whatever, or have this huge story PvE thing, it would really require a different game because the engine's just not designed for it.
Yes.
And now we're finally seeing, that is exactly what they've been doing.
Yeah, I mean,
that's really not surprising in hindsight.
No,
I
not at all.
I think I'd note that one of the big reasons this is the case is because, as you just said, Ian, Overwatch's engine is not really designed for this, because for anyone who doesn't know, Overwatch's engine is really sort of I'm not going to say a patchwork, but it's sort of a very specifically built, I suppose, relatively hastily built engine because of the circumstances of Overwatch's development as basically a last-minute replacement for the canceled Titan project. So, it's basically, the engine is very, very good at PvP, but it's very bad with AI, and I'm sure as we know by now, it's not very good with, geometry interaction. It has issues with that.
Yes, it does.
So,
actually... Oh.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've had theories about this for a while, because sometimes when I'm playing, I watch how the game itself flows, and the interactions with geometry and all that, and also the size of some of the patches, and I can't help but wonder if they released the game on an engine that was unfinished and they've been slowly building it as we've been playing, and I don't mean that, like they've been correcting it, but they've been like adding components, because I'm sure you remember there's been many instances where they've had like, like we're changing how inclines work, we're changing how jump height works, like all these little things. It's like, okay, like obviously you're getting to this now 2.5 years after launch.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of that has to do with the fact that Overwatch was disproportionately successful to the amount of effort and money and resources that were put into it.
Yes.
So Blizzard has kind of had to scramble to shove a lot of resources into it when they weren't expecting to need to. I mean, yeah, I think it's telling that they've suddenly swapped from like StarCraft and Warcraft being their flagship IPs to Overwatch. Like, it's just insane.
Well, like somebody somewhere won a $1,000 bet. Like,
oh yeah, no, Jeff Kaplan won the $1,000 bet. Like, because Overwatch was kind of like just his brainchild. He was just kind of like, okay, what are we gonna do instead of Titan? And he just kind of, I guess, came up with this weird idea of like optimistic sci-fi universe of heroes fighting each other, and I don't know, that it became Overwatch.
Yeah, what is the flavor of like, they're simulations, right? Like the games that we play in competitive and stuff?
No, there's no lore for it.
Oh, okay.
It's not like Halo.
Seen theories. Yeah, I've seen theories that it's all like simulations or whatever run by Athena, but there's not like enough concrete like story to sort of back that up.
It's not like Halo where it's like, yeah, this is it's all a simulation sort of thing. It's Overwatch. If we're gonna get lore on it, it's gonna be in the Overwatch 2 thing. So
Overwatch 2 is a horrible name. They really have to pick a better
Oh, it
title.
won't be Overwatch 2. It won't be Overwatch 2. Believe me, it won't.
Yeah, it's just a placeholder, and it's kind of unfortunate that when it sort of got like leaked out, it was called Overwatch 2.
Yeah.
Because so many people think this is just going to be a direct sequel, where they're just going to drop the first game and just focus on the second. That's not what's going to be.
No. It's. I mean, because Overwatch is very much like TF2, where it's just like they iterate on it over and over and over again for years. They don't release a new game.
Was there a Team Fortress 1?
Yes, but it was a mod.
Yeah.
It wasn't
That's
official.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
How funny that they called the first official game number 2. Alright, I guess that makes sense. Overwatch 2. No. Well, actually, it'll probably be reusing a lot of the assets of Overwatch.
Yeah.
So I think that you'll probably have to have Overwatch to be able to buy Overwatch 2 or whatever.
I don't know
about
think
that.
so, because I think it's going to just be a completely separate game, honestly. I can basically assure you it's going to be a completely separate game.
Like different mechanics and shit, or like the same core heroes and all that stuff?
I mean, it'll have the same core heroes, but I think the engine will be slightly different. I think from what I understand with the thing that Schreier wrote, it's going to be like Left 4 Dead, which means that it'll be like a 4-team PvE thing.
Most likely.
Yeah, which I'd note, every PvE event we've had so far in Overwatch has been 4 players.
Indeed, that is the case, yeah.
So, I think that's pretty telling. I think probably what they're going to do is I think they're probably going to take the Overwatch engine as it exists now, and I'm thinking they're probably going to just tweak it so that it works better with AI, but not as well with like a lot of player input and servers and stuff like that. So I'm thinking that's probably what they'll do, because right now, as far as I understand with the engine, it's not like they can't really necessarily just full on improve it because of the way it's designed. They have to iterate in different ways on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not a computer expert, so maybe I'm wrong, but from what I understand, that is the case.
That's become evident to us, especially with your struggles involving #rework Bastion and your using of the of the workshop.
Okay, thank you.
Listen, I can't always be nice to you.
Yeah, I know.
The roast of Astro.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think this sounds interesting. I'm hoping we just get a bunch of like lore events, and I'm not really sure what to expect because I never played Left 4 Dead, but
You're missing out. It's a fantastic game.
I'll check it out.
So much death. All of the undead dying.
But yeah. So I don't know. I'm very curious about this. I suppose we'll have to wait until November to actually get a reveal on it to talk about it really in depth. But it's promising. It's promising.
Hey, before then, you should make a top 10 list about your top 10 expectations. That way you can, benefit off of the algorithm. Actually, you should both do that.
Yeah, I feel like it's already sort of on the downswing with Overwatch 2. Like,
yeah, it is a little bit. People have already said
a few
okay.
days ago,
yeah.
And now people are like, oh. So yeah, that should have been done like a week ago, but oh well. One thing. Oh
yeah, go ahead.
One thing I wanted to mention is when you're talking about like whether or not Overwatch 2 or whatever it's going to be called is going to be like an expansion or if it's going to be a standalone game, I strongly suspect they're going to do something similar to Fortnite, which I've talked about in some of my videos before, where Fortnite has like the PvE, I forget whatever the Save the World mode, and then the PvP Battle Royale. And they're technically in the same game, but you like launch them separately from within the game's main menu. And you can buy the PvE and not touch the PvP, or you could just play the free PvP and not buy the PvE. And I think it's going to be a similar thing like that, where the games are like kind of the same, but you can if you want, you could just buy one and not play the other. It's not like you're going to have to buy the full Overwatch and then download the Overwatch 2 PvE. I think there's going to be like these sort of things that maybe share an engine. As you said, I think they're probably going to do some engine modifications just because that would make sense with the issues with AI that the current engine has. But I think they're going to be like very closely linked and probably just like either right next to each other on the like a Blizzard launcher, or there's going to be some like greater Overwatch like menu thing that you launch, and then from there go to old Overwatch or the new PvE.
Yeah,
I think it's probably going to end up looking something like that.
I mean,
I concur.
As the Blizzard CEO said recently, when asked about this sort of stuff, he was like, "Yeah, we don't really want to make like an add-on." Blizzard's they have very high expectations for themselves, so they would want to make like a full-on game, like full-on new game with it.
Right.
So yeah, I'd say that's probably what we should be expecting.
Yeah, I think more than anything, having them in that same sort of like menu launcher is a good like marketing technique. Because it's like, I want to play the PvE because I don't like PvP. And so you launch it up, and then every time you go into play PvE, you see the original PvP one sitting there, and if you see it all the time, you're more likely to click on it, maybe buy an account or whatever. So I think they're probably going to lump them together just for like consistency and to have them sort of like bouncing off each other in terms of like players and stuff.
Yeah.
But I do think they will be standalone in that you don't need to have both. You can just buy and play one if you only want that one.
Yeah.
Masters of marketing. Actually, like Electronic Arts did a very similar thing. If either of you played Battlefield 1, right about the time where that game came out, they created this Battlefield launcher thing, which was like an application that associated all of the games that you had in that series together, and you could launch them all from the same menu and affect different things in each one of them based upon your EA account. Obviously, I'm not speaking positively about EA. Nobody ever should. But I think that type of functionality, I mean, it works on console, and the fact that it works on console means that it's a good idea, because though the console market is smaller than the PC market, it's still a significant number of casual gamers who love to throw their money into, the loot box problem.
Yeah. There's that.
That's probably a story for another time.
Yeah, we can do that next time, but...
Oh, the loot boxes, Jesus Christ.
I mean, we should probably wait until there's more development there before we really talk about it.
True, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that basically sums it up. It's promising, but we'll have to see. So...
Awkward silence.
Yes, awkward silence. I suppose the next thing we should talk about then is as you mentioned, the Bastion rework thing I'm doing on the workshop. So, it's going quite well, considering that this is my first time ever programming something.
It's true. It has it's functional. Like it feels pretty good actually. Like I was kind of surprised. Like no offense, but I didn't expect much, and then I was very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I mean, people are telling me it feels really good to play. And they're telling me like it's. I've had a lot of people tell me it's like it feels like it'd be just a lot more easy to balance, which, I mean, basically is just the confirmation I needed for what I was already assuming. So
confirmation bias.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm happy with it. I don't know. Were you able to check it out yet, Ian, or no?
Yeah, I played around with the version that you messaged the code for like a couple days ago.
Yeah, 0.3.
You didn't finish the one you were working on yesterday, did you?
No, I'm trying to implement the ult right now, but
okay,
because of the way that like the inputs work, and the fact that I'm basically trying to have two ultimates work simultaneously next to each other, it's difficult to make work.
There may be coding limitations.
There might be coding limitations, and what I might end up having to do is I might end up having to make a separate ult meter for the new ult. Because you can't... Because one thing I learned is that you can't activate tank without first setting ult charge to 100, which immediately is a big limitation because it means like I can't ult without basically using ult charge that I would use for the new ult. Basically, it's a mess, but it's an ongoing thing. Basically, I need to learn how this works a bit better, and then I think it'll work. But
yeah, I think you've done a really good job, like, so far from testing it and having it actually work, because I guess I talked about, and I'm sure you've realized now, like I mentioned this on I think the last podcast I was on with you guys, the workshop isn't that great for designing new heroes.
Yeah. No.
And so granted, I think you've done a really good job with what the workshop's capable of.
I mean, what I'm curious about...
There's a lot of limitations.
Yeah. I mean, what I'm really curious about is... I mean, you were the one who was kind of really waiting to be able to test it out and see what you thought. So, I mean, have your thoughts changed on it at all, or what?
I mean... Unfortunately, I don't think the workshop is good enough for me to get a good feel. Like, I wasn't able to like play it in like a team with a group of people. Like that would be a complicated thing to schedule. You know, like playing around with it mechanically, I think it feels fine. My issue was the balance concerns mainly.
Yeah, I mean, but that's numbers.
I still have that same concern with the tank and recon mode feeling redundant. I still haven't like moved past that. Like I still think that's an issue that would get in the way of it ever being a realistic rework.
I mean, I think the biggest limitation that I have found with the workshop, with this project specifically, is that you can't limit the amount of times you can fire with tank because tank doesn't have any sort of ammo. It's literally just linked directly to the form. There's no there's no way to give a clip size or anything like that. So while I do have that counter where it's like the ammo counter that regenerates and stuff like that, once it's at 0, you can still fire. I'm just trying to figure out if there's a way I can work around that. Because
you could maybe disable the primary fire button from working when that counters at 0.
But that's the thing. I tried that, and it doesn't matter. You can still do it because firing in tank mode is not linked to primary fire. It's linked to the ultimate button. Which
That's really, really weird.
It's really, really weird. Even though the button you press is the primary fire button, it has nothing to do with the ability to actually fire.
It's an interesting bit of like back-end trivia knowledge about how tank mode works.
Yeah, I mean, basically what I can tell you is that what I've learned with doing this Bastion rework is Bastion is programmed with such a level of absolute scuff. It's unbelievable. it's you know, I know there's heroes like Doomfist where it's just an absolute shit show with the bugs, but like the way Bastion is programmed is nightmarish. Like, there are just things that are linked together that make no sense. Like, it's just I have no idea.
Wait, a random question. Since you're a Bastion man, you probably know this. When you're playing the Null Sector Bastion skin and you're in first person, when you ult, does it go zwee, 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 or does it do the normal shitty ult sound?
It's the normal sound. Yeah, it's the normal sound.
Yeah. I wish it was the Null Sector one, because it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's so scary. Like, like the Bastion ult sound like zwee, zwee, zwee. Great. But you know what's really scary?
Yeah.
Zwee.
Even better.
You're fucked.
But yeah, I mean, Ian, so, I mean, I think, basically what I'm asking is, if I can iron out the balance issue, you think it works?
Well, like, mechanically, I think it works. I just still feel that having, like, the recon mode with, like, I don't know, it's just like I guess whatever you call it. I guess you turned it into a 3-round burst gun in its recon mode. Having that, like, so I guess the whole reason you gave him that was for, like, range effectiveness?
It's range effectiveness, and because of the utility that comes with recon. Because you have that, like, radar thing that I was able to implement.
Right. Yeah, like, the range of his recon gun just feels kind of unnecessary. Like, I'm not convinced he needs to have, like, a ranged, like, hit scan weapon like that. Like, especially when he has, like, the tank mode, which can fire over long distance, and it isn't hit scan, and obviously you're gonna have a hard time, like, shooting a far out of the air with that. But I feel like it's unnecessary for him to have this ranged hit scan, the, like, minigun, sentry gun, and the long range, like, tank cannon. Like, I feel like he doesn't need all three of those.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it really comes down to, like, the fact that I'm not able to really limit the amount of time you're able to fire and tank, because that's the idea is that you're only supposed to be able to, like, you know, fire up to 4 shots, and then it has to recharge. And sort of the idea, the balance idea is that, you know, you either have to decide to use tank for mobility or damage, but it's very limited amounts of ammo, and basically the idea is that you have to really be careful with how you use tank, otherwise you do just want to stick with recon, because that's the more consistent option.
Especially because you neutralized Ironclad. Like, I've noticed that, like, when I was playing it against bots, like, I think that that's actually the smartest thing that you've done, because by reducing the tankiness, you make him much more of, like, I guess, a glass cannon in a way, where, like, he's really dependent on, like, dealing really, really quick, efficient, well-placed, and precise damage where it hurts.
Yeah. No, that was a big part of it, like, removing the Ironclad.
Yeah, I never liked Ironclad to begin with.
Me neither. Yeah.
It felt like a very sort of, like, tacked-on ability.
I mean, to be fair, the entirety of tank as an ultimate is technically tacked on.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah.
Oh, one other thing that I don't remember if I was testing it to see how effective it actually was, but So Bastion, when he's in Sentry mode with your rework version, when he's in Sentry mode and he goes up to like 99% heat, so that he's not going to like go into the like overheat sort of mechanic thing.
Yeah.
It takes 3 seconds then for him to cool down all the way to 0 if you just stopped firing and didn't use the venting reload ability. And then
okay,
I think so, if I'm reading these numbers right, because it's 33.3% per second after you stop firing that the heat dissipates.
Oh, that's a lot faster than it was.
Yeah, no, it's down to 17.3 now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm looking off the original reworks sheet that you had sent me.
Yeah, no, I've had to modify things.
Okay. Well, that changes a lot then. But the concern I had was if you fire with the Sentry mode, go up to 99%, and then just switch into tank mode, fire your 4 shots, then switch back to Sentry mode and fire your cannon, it's going to be like cooling down and reloading the shells as you like while you're in the other mode. And I feel like that's going to give you this huge sort of just ability to just swap, and just constantly deal out damage. And especially if you're behind like a Reinhardt barrier, there's not going to be like any downtime where you're not shooting, it seems like, other than like the 1 second where you're transforming.
Well, I mean, technically, Bastion already does that. Because in Sentry, when you run out of ammo, you can just immediately go into Recon and start firing. And if you fire for 2 seconds, you can immediately go back into Sentry and your ammo's back. That's already a thing. So
right, but the Recon mode, like machine gun, is a lot less powerful than a tank cannon.
That's true. Yes.
And that was my concern. Again, that's something that I don't know exactly how bad that would be in terms of balance. Maybe it wouldn't even really be a problem. That was just something that stuck out to me that was a concern of mine. So, I mean, again, that's something that would take, like, gameplay testing,
of course,
to figure out.
Maybe what we could try, Zach, is, like, the tank rounds reload slower if you're not in tank.
That could be interesting, but I don't think you'll actually have to do that, especially because tank's damage has been shifted directly to the direct impacts.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
think
true.
You'll be able to deal a lot of damage in tank form unless you really, really have good aim. Like, the spread right now is worse than Pharah's. Like almost all the damage comes to the direct impact, and the splash damage, though it has a huge radius, is almost negligible.
That's true. Yeah, I did change that. So,
okay.
But yeah, I mean, so basically, this has been what I've been working on, and I'm hoping that I know Xavi was able to get her Mercy rework onto like Overbuff's front page and stuff like that, and seeing how I've been putting in a similar amount of effort into this, I'm hoping I can get mine on the front page or something as well. So we'll see.
Yeah, I hope so, because you've definitely been putting in a lot of work, and I think it'd be a shame if you didn't get more eyeballs on like the work you've been doing to sort of test it out.
Yeah, believe me, I've been doing everything I can. I'm doing a giveaway right now.
So, I saw that.
Yeah.
What we need to do is we need people to test it. We need to make 6v6 games. We need to simulate competitive games, and we need to test it.
Yeah, that's true.
And that would be really difficult to pull off.
Not really. I mean, I have friends. I have a lot of friends who play this game in high levels.
But are they all at the same high level? So that it would be like an actually balanced match?
Yeah.
Do they all play the right heroes to form the proper teams of like tank, support, DPS?
Yeah, I mean, they play... I have a lot of friends who... They're kind of like the masters level or so.
Okay.
They're all roughly masters, so yeah, we could try that.
You can test between 3K and 4K, and I think that would be fine.
Yeah, exactly. So... But, yeah, so, I mean, it's going well. It's just a lot of work and a lot of trying to actually learn how to use this workshop thing. Because I still don't really know how to use 60% of it, but, you know, it's a learning experience. I've had a lot of people help me, so that's nice.
Oh, yes, you have.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Thank you for your corroboration, Ian.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy to test out the changes you put through, because I'm very interested in seeing, how this develops. And because as I said last time, like, I have a bit of a soft spot for Bastion, and even though I barely ever play him because I suck at DPS and whatnot, yeah, I'm always interested in his well-being.
Yeah, I mean, that's nice. I mean, seeing how 90% of people seem to forget he exists, so I will take it. But yeah, so it's going well. I suppose the next thing we should talk about then is, do we want to talk about Hero 31 first or the anniversary event?
Do we know?
I feel like. Well, what exactly were you wanting to say for anniversary? Like, just discuss the event in general?
Yeah, like discuss the event in general. Like, what do you guys thought? Like, what do you guys think of it? Like, how did it go? So,
I don't know.
I mean, I thought it was quite good this year. I mean, then again, I think it's just kind of because it's the best event, because it's kind of all of them in one. But
Yeah.
Right.
it's I don't know. I thought it was pretty good this year.
Oh, the
Skins
double
are
XP.
The double XP
The
was
skins
good.
too, yeah, of course. Yeah, the skins are always beautiful for this event. But like the double XP, I think was like, I didn't really play it all that much. Like I did my 9 wins for my boxes only on the Junkenstein's days.
Mm-hmm.
But then like on the double XP weekend, like I played one comp game and I got like 17k XP, and I was like, what?
Yeah,
What?
exactly.
Like this is how it should be. Like I like that.
No, it was a lot of fun. I unfortunately I wasn't able to get like the Orbital Pharah skin, which I really wanted, but I was able to get.
Sorry.
I was able to get like the Roadhog Toxic skin and the Winston Gargoyle skin, which I'm very happy about. So
Nice.
Somewhere Britney Spears is very happy.
yeah,
The
but yeah.
combo skin is actually really, really nice. I like it. It's super. It looks really, really good alongside the Junkrat equally satanic skin, and a couple of the other equally satanic skins like Symmetra Dragon,
Yeah,
Zenyatta Genie,
yeah.
whatever it's called,
The
Ifrit.
the Zenyatta like cultist, you mean?
No, the Ifrit, the fiery one.
Oh, the Ifrit, yeah.
Yeah, I think you can make like a squad of fiery people.
Yeah.
Ooh. Symmetra Junkrat Winston doesn't sound like a very good team.
No, not really. But
We're back down to Plat Boys.
yeah. Speaking of that, I'm finally back to like 2900. I'm so excited.
Oh, I'm so
Nice.
proud of you, Astro.
But yeah, no, I mean, I'm very happy with this event. I thought most of the skins were really good. There was like maybe 1 or 2 I wasn't a fan of, but overall, I thought it was a very solid event. Not a ton new, but I don't know. I just liked having double XP, really.
Yeah. I mean, that is always nice if you're trying to grind out loot boxes.
Yeah, I
So-
think that was probably the highlight.
Real quick before we move off of Anniversary, what are your guys' thoughts on that teaser we got towards the end of Archives where Maximilian talks about Singapore and Doomfist, and everyone was like,
jeez.
oh, we're going to get a new
Oh,
Deathmatch
yeah.
Singapore map with Anniversary, and then it just didn't happen. I'm just curious to hear your guys' thoughts on that, because I've seen a lot of people upset that it didn't happen.
I mean, I don't think it's realistic to get a third map within the time span of like 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That would have been like ridiculous.
Insanity, yeah. I think that's more of... I mean, I wasn't really expecting a map at all, so I'm not really surprised. So, I mean, that's really all I have to say. I wasn't even aware a lot of people were thinking we were going to get a Singapore map right now, so...
I thought it was kind of confusing, but I did appreciate it. I realized that because there are events that happened in the past of whatever the present is now in Overwatch,
Mhm.
it's probably just them like preparing to fill in the gaps later, right? It's very, very smart. Like you lay out the foundations, then later, like when we do get Singapore or whatever. Well, there's no map like in the archives that were dredged up like a year and a half ago. Like we saw Utopia, we saw all these map names, but we didn't see anything in Singapore, right? So
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Wait, which map names are you talking about?
the map names that were leaked a long time ago, like really a long time ago, like before Symmetra 2.0, I think. So I mean, that's how I remember things in this game.
Are you talking about the leak that mentioned Utopia, the New Zealand mountain map?
Yeah, Utopia, the New Zealand mountain map, and I think they also talked about Ayutthaya. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that
yeah.
leak was confirmed fake.
It was? Oh, okay.
Yeah, the person who posted it came out saying that they made it up, and they literally just did it to get like content creators overhyped and talking about something that wasn't real.
I mean,
Rude.
Sorry to
to
burst
them?
your bubble on that one.
Yeah. I mean,
It's okay. I'll keep hoping for Utopia one day.
Me too. I'm with you
yeah,
there.
I think there's a lot of interesting places they could put a map, really. I'm not sure, like, what it would be, though, because there's so many. I'm not sure what they would go with. But, you know, I guess...
there are a lot of future city maps in this game. A lot.
Yes. Yes, that's true. I mean, I think what we're likely to see is probably more like different kinds of cities, because I feel like it's difficult for them to make maps out of natural geometry, just because it tends to look kind of weird. But
Yes.
yeah,
Do we have a map in a US like suburb yet? We don't, right?
no,
That could be
No.
interesting.
but yeah, a map in the U.S. suburb, that'd be really, really fascinating. A really fascinating map.
Well, I don't know. Maybe there's like a Omnic base or whatever. Maybe Predator Dreadlock Omnic dude is like chilling in the States in Pennsylvania.
Oh God. I mean, I think what they could do is I think there's a lot of like different cities that they could give a lot of like its own flavor. I mean, because think about it, they have 20 different teams, each from a city, in the Overwatch League, and I mean, a lot of the cities are pretty unique.
Yeah, I think that's something Overwatch has done really well so far, which is like we have like at least a dozen future city maps, but they're all set in like different places of the world. And
Yeah.
I think they do a really good job of reflecting like the different like culture and architecture and stuff of those different areas in the map. So each city map feels unique.
Yeah, Paris
Yes.
is unbelievable.
At the end of the day, there's still a bunch of future city maps, which I think are getting a little old. And it's saying something if I'm saying that, because I love future cities, but I think we have a few too many of them in Overwatch.
Yeah.
At least compared to other map types.
I'm just not even sure what they would do for like a natural environment, though. Like,
Well, one I've been wanting them to do for years at this point is an underwater map, like an underwater research base of some kind.
Oh,
That'd be cool.
damn.
Like Horizon,
Eco-point.
except underwater. And yeah, an eco point of some kind.
Eco
I think that would be
Aquatica.
awesome. Well, there's I don't remember if it's called Eco Point or Watch Point. I think it's Eco Point. The Eco Point Galapagos, which is one of the old map concept art pieces
oh, that'd be really cool.
that showed off. And that looks awesome, because the Galapagos is an awesome place.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know how familiar. Okay, yeah, you guys know about that. And so to put like an Eco Point there would like make sense with the story, because of all the, biological stuff that
Of
you can
course.
study.
Oh
there.
yeah, absolutely. Oh, that sounds
And
really
that'd be
cool.
more perfect for like an island or like underwater map. I think that'd be awesome.
That'd be amazing.
So-
Yeah. Oh wow, that's a really good idea. All right, yeah, sure,
Beautiful.
I'll take it.
Somebody make it happen. Somebody
Yeah,
go
someone
work
make it
for
happen.
Blizzard. Oof. That would
But,
be awesome.
Yeah, no, that's a really good idea.
And we could get a lovely May bathing suit skin.
Oh,
Love
great.
it.
Yeah, we don't have one of those yet, do we?
No, we don't.
It's been 3 years. What are you doing, Blizzard?
Yeah, I'm literally offended. Like, I just want my Chinese best friend May to get a bathing suit skin.
I'm sure you'd be very happy about it, Zach.
Yes, I just love. I love attractive women. It's my favorite thing. I am so straight. Me, girls, I love them.
Oh boy.
Quickly
I mean,
change this
you can appreciate a fine body even if you're not interested in that gender.
Oh no, of course. May is beautiful. Like, I love her to death. Like, I would like to have coffee with her and like talk about freezing people and cramming icicles in their eye sockets.
What the fuck?
Now I am concerned.
Hey, listen, I played a bit of Sub-Zero in Mortal Kombat. I know all about that type of killing.
Oh my god.
It's true, right? Like, they'd be besties.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, okay, well, now that we've talked about that,
Yep. Perfect.
So
Just cut all of it. Cut all of it.
yeah, just cut it off. Cut all of it. I guess the last thing we have to talk about is Hero 31, which I suspect will probably take the most time to talk about. So it's good that we start now.
Yeah.
Really, I don't know anything about Hero 31. Was this? Wait, do we have a Hero 30? We do, right?
Yes, his name is Baptiste.
His name is Baptiste.
Oh yeah, it's true, Baptiste. Yeah, of course, yeah. He just like fits so naturally into the game that like I didn't even notice that he was there ever.
Yeah, that's
even though
actually
he's in all my games.
that's something I've actually started to notice with a lot of the recent heroes, like Ash and Baptiste. Like they were released, and then you would just forget there was a new hero.
Yeah,
And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because it's good if they just fit into the game naturally, but at the same time, it feels like they don't really have an impact because it doesn't feel like there's a new hero in the game.
Oh, Ash was really scary when she came out. I remember being afraid of Bob, and I still kind of am. Like, Bob has killed me so many times, and it's never my fault. It's like I just hear Bob, and then I turn around and it's like great, like.
You just turn around and there's the very large Omnic Butler just barreling towards you. This man's just booking it. Oh man!
Literally, like I'm a skinny Indian woman. Like get the hell out of here with that noise. I can't survive that. Like
reminds me of this game I played yesterday where I was laughing my ass off because we were playing on Havana and I was playing Bob I was playing Ash. I wish Bob was a character. Believe me, I wish Bob was a hero. And I was playing Ash, and I summoned Bob, and the Bob literally just landed on top of the enemy Tracer and just instantly killed her. Like, he didn't even get a chance to run, he just landed on her. It was absolutely hilarious.
Oh, Bob is amazing.
Bob is utterly fantastic. Like,
hey, by the way, he's buffed now. Now when he's out, you gain ult charge, which is very, 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 very
really?
good.
Yeah,
what?
that's right.
He gives you ult charge now? What the fuck?
Mm-hmm. However, it won't matter because now McCree's overpowered and he outshines every other DPS in the game. So drop Ash.
I mean, I think. Oh god, I think with McCree, I think what they need to do, right, is I think they just need to increase his range with the fall off.
You saw what they did, right?
I saw what they did. I don't think it's the right thing to do, but
no, it's not.
I mean, I think what they just need to do is like increase the fall off to 30 meters because, like, what the fuck? Since when does like a precision weapon in any video game have less range than a full auto? Like, it just doesn't happen. But yeah, also, like, here's McCree.
That is so triggering. It is so triggering that they increased his fire rate. Like, what are you doing? Like, it was fine. It was okay. Like, Bunker is already strong. Like, you didn't need to do that. Like, Pharah's already bad.
Yeah.
And then, oh my god, Torb's secondary fire. We think that Torb's secondary fire is a bit too effective at actually getting kills. So we're going to reduce the damage to the threshold where even when it's damage boosted, it still can't effectively kill people. Like, it's always going to take a
Yeah, I mean,
always.
I think the bigger issue with Torb's secondary fire is the spread more than anything, because someone at Blizzard was smoking something when they decided that the spread pattern for a shotgun weapon should be a star. So, like, it's just, I think if they just made it a circle, I think it'd be fine. It's just like, why? I mean, I hear a lot of people saying that in higher ranks, like, Torbjorn is, like, generally played like a better Reaper, but it's like...
Well, now he won't be. You can bet that to be the case. But we can slurp him in less than a second.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, what's the point of, like, having Reaper then? It's like, you're not going to make a bad hero any better by just nerfing a decent hero.
Astro, like, a damage boosted McCree does almost as much damage per second as Bastion does in Sentry form if he's getting headshots.
I'm aware.
Wait, actually, he does the same. Like,
I know. It's unbelievable.
454, he does 4 points more. Like, why? Why?
I don't know. I don't know.
Sorry for derailing your shit. I know, Ian, you don't care much about this type of conversation, so we can resume our discussion of Hero 31.
I don't play DPS, yeah.
But,
Right.
yeah, so Hero 31.
Fucking hell.
I think we can basically say with the utmost confidence it'll be a tank.
Yes.
So, I mean,
D-Moon.
Demon? Maybe.
Wait, is that the boy or the girl?
Demon's a girl.
Yeah, she's the other female mecha pilot.
Yeah, dude, I like mechs. I like Diva. She's pretty lit.
I think
She's a bad bitch.
I think Demon is one possibility. I'm just trying to think of like what kind of tank they'd be adding, right?
Do you remember, Sorry, continue.
Oh, okay. I think there's like a 75% chance it's going to be a new barrier tank.
Yeah, I'd say the same.
Because. And if it isn't, I think it's going to be some really weird, unexpected off tank, which somehow like achieves the same end as if they were to add a barrier tank, but in some random, crazy, unique way that nobody's going to expect. Kind of like how Wrecking Ball just came out of nowhere and people didn't know what to do with him, but then they're like, oh, he's actually an effective hero.
Yeah.
Yes.
I could see it being something like that again.
I mean, I remember watching that video you made, Ian, about like what kind of tank Hero 31 would be, and I don't know if you saw the comment I posted, but I was saying like how in reality there's 3 types of tanks, right? There's main tanks, off tanks, and disruption tanks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Disruption.
yeah, because I think we don't. So we have a pure off tank, like say Zarya, and then you have a pure main tank like Orisa, and then you have characters like, I guess, you have characters like Winston who are like a disruption hybrid with a main tank, but then you have Hammond who's just like a pure disruption tank, right?
Right.
So honestly, I've always said that Hammond is neither a main tank or an off tank because he doesn't do either things that are associated with a main tank or an off tank. He's more or less sort of unique because he is just pure disruption. And I think that what we're likely to see is because we have hybrids of everything except a main tank and an off tank, I think we'll probably see something like that.
So
Look at that thing that I just dropped in the in chat after this.
Okay.
It was a meme. A
Okay.
hero concept.
But no, I think what we're probably going to see is some sort of hybrid tank, like a main off tank hybrid that isn't really super disruption based, but is more like sort of, I guess I would probably say high damage, low mobility, kind of like Roadhog, but I mean obviously it'd have to be something more, that isn't a hook. Like, I'm not sure what exactly it would be, but I'm thinking it's probably going to be something where it's like Roadhog, but more barrier-oriented. Like, I'm thinking of like a Roadhog with a barrier sort of kind of hero.
How about a flamethrower that has sticky napalm?
Yeah, we could do that.
that in and of itself feels a bit strong, and I don't know if that would connect well with the main tank idea.
Yeah, no.
Tasty.
I mean, because like a main tank, the way a main tank is because they have some sort of like not area denial, but they have like a ability that protects their team, right? And that's sort of the difference between an off tank like Zarya and a main tank like Reinhardt, where Zarya is like sort of in there doing damage, and yeah, she can protect a teammate, but it's very brief, and it's only a single teammate, so she's she's an off tank, and then you have like Reinhardt, whose whole thing is that he just holds up a barrier and makes like a giant area behind him that is safe to stand in. So I'm trying to think of like if maybe you could have a hero where the idea is it's like they have some sort of barrier, but the barrier itself can act as a weapon or something like that.
So like Brigitte,
yeah.
No, not like Brigitte, where it's like you need to bash. I'm thinking like imagine Reinhardt's barrier, but while it's up, you have a primary fire where it's like a laser or something that comes out of the barrier. And it would use durability of the barrier, but it's like a damage
That's
option.
a very, very good meta. I really like that concept, at least in the sense that you have to choose whether to be defending or attacking. But then the only problem with that is that like you want your main tank to be protecting you, not doing pitiful 52.5 DPS.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it would be doing both simultaneously.
yeah, like it deploys the barrier, and then while the barrier is up, shoot, sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of like Orisa, except it's dependent on having the barrier up in order to shoot.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. That was just
Yeah.
I don't know. I can see that happening. Or like when you shoot, you pull up a barrier. So like you can only have the barrier up when you are slowed down. You know, like 80% or whatever in shooting.
80%. Oh God, can you imagine that? Yeah. No, I think that's another possible thing that you could do. I mean, there's just Blizzard is very unpredictable with how they make these heroes.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I'm just trying to think like, what sort of hero could like specifically more like the identity of the hero, right? Like, do we have any leads on what character this might be?
No, not really. I mean, there hasn't been like. What were you saying?
Maybe it's Dreadlock Omnic.
yeah, Dreadlock Omnic.
It could be, honestly. The fact that we just don't have like comics or anything anymore
makes it
has
difficult.
just like really cut down on the amount of like sort of background characters. Like Sanjay was an excellent background character example. It's like, oh, you see him sort of reappearing on all these places. Maybe he could be a hero. Sanjay thinks like betrayed Talon.
No, he's a traitor to Symmetra and to Vishkar Corps.
Oh,
well, no, I think Vishkar is part of Talon.
I think he's sort of like this ambiguous link, though. Like, I don't think Vishkar just is Talon. I think he's just like.
I think Vishkar and Talon are probably like a business deal sort of thing, where it's like, Vishkar gives money to Talon, and Talon provides something to Vishkar, something like that, information to Vishkar.
Lawful neutral meets lawful evil.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Talon isn't lawful, like, at all.
Yeah, I don't know. With Doomfist at the head, I'm not sure. Doomfist
He's a bit of a crazy person.
Doomfist is a crazy person, but he's not like a Junkrat crazy person. He's like
right.
He's like very calculated with everything he does. Like he's not a madman. He's actually, if you want the perfect comparison between Doomfist and another character, I'd say, oddly enough and fittingly enough, he's very similar to Thanos.
Yeah, very similar.
Very similar to Thanos.
That's a very, very good comparison. Oh, how could you forget the Gauntlet?
That's exactly what I mean. That's what I think is so perfect, because ever since like Infinity War came out, it was like, wow, it's Doomfist. So, yeah, no, I think that.
See what happens when I snap my fingers.
Oh God! But no, I think that's something we're gonna have to look for like, because I don't think Sanjay would be Hero 31. I think Sanjay is probably a character they're gonna save for probably like a BlizzCon announcement, right? Because usually like these big anticipated characters they save for BlizzCon.
Technically, they've only done that once with Sombra. Because Moira wasn't anticipated. Ashe wasn't anticipated.
That's true. Yeah, I guess. But I mean, the other thing I would say is, if I'm being honest, I think the most likely reveal for BlizzCon is probably Echo.
I agree.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's probably Echo. Sorry, what?
When is BlizzCon?
November. Which is right around the time they announce a new hero. Or it's when they announce a new hero, usually.
Yeah, they've done that the past 3 years now.
Yeah.
True. Oh, time to get hype.
Yeah. We get Overwatch 2 and Echo. It'd be a good time.
I mean, to be fair, we don't know for sure they're going to announce Overwatch 2. It's just speculated.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, I think...
It seems likely, though.
I mean... What would you say is needed from a tank right now in Overwatch, like a new tank?
Oof. Personally, I just think more variety in general.
For sure, yeah.
Like, I love playing main tank, but when I just do Orisa and Reinhardt over and over again, it's like, I wish I just had something else to, break up the...
I mean, you could play Winston, but yeah.
Oh, right, but that's only if the enemy has a Widowmaker who's really good, and then I just harass her all game.
Yeah.
I love doing that.
Oh, yeah, it's a good time.
Just for the record, enemies Sombra or Widowmaker, I just harass them as Winston. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Everything can be hacked. Oh, you know what? Like, I'd really like a tank that has, like 300 shields and 300 health, or like 400 shields, like something
like a shield-based main tank. Yeah, I'd say that that'd be cool.
Yeah. They would need the ability, obviously, but to boost their resistance. So like maybe oh my god, like Symmetra's shield generator, which is now gone, could be reintroduced in a character form. That could be cool.
I mean, I'm thinking that's probably what Echo will be, like a living shield gen.
I could see that.
But yeah, I mean, I think very specifically what I would expect from a tank now, like a main tank coming from Blizzard now, is some sort of damage percentage cut to enemies or something like that. Like some way that it would be like a debuff to enemies with how much damage they did to you. Yeah.
Okay, so debuff the enemy so the enemy deals less damage.
Yeah, the enemy deals less damage. It's like
That's something that I'm very wary of, because Blizzard heavily focuses on avoiding anything that makes you feel weak.
Yeah, they don't like using nerfs.
Well, they don't like using nerfs, so they love using nerfs, believe me.
It basically, it feels better to make yourself more powerful than to have somebody else make you weaker. I mean, if you know what I mean like that.
I guess the two things I think are the most needed in Overwatch right now are, I think we need a slowing ability, right? Like sort of a anti-Lucio sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And some sort of partial anti-heal. So it's like, an enemy affected by this ability takes 25% less healing or something.
Maybe you could, if you do introduce it's half as much healing, you could go back and change Ana to reflect that. But obviously, to do that to Ana, you'd have to improve other parts of her kit, which maybe you don't want to do because she was very difficult to balance.
Ana's Bionade is fine as it is. It's just that it needs competition. The entire issue with why Zen, Lucio, and Ana are so unbelievably difficult to contest in in terms of a pick that you want on your team is because there's no other hero that does anything similar.
Indeed.
And I think that's part of the issue. Obviously you don't want just straight up repeats of abilities, but variations on abilities are is something that we really need now. Like, it's really getting bad because it basically is like making certain characters almost always a good idea and others basically useless.
To other ones, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's just sort of like the whole thing of like, why do you need a Junkrat when you have a Hanzo? Because, I mean, let's be honest, Hanzo also breaks barriers unbelievably well, because...
Hashtag nerf Hanzo. Hashtag undo the McCree damage attack.
Oh, God. Because, I mean...
So triggering.
Because, I mean, think about it. Junkrat fires, I think, like, a little slower than or a little faster than 1 per second, and Hanzo, I think, is exactly 1 per second, and Hanzo's arrow does 5 more damage than Junkrat's bombs. It has longer range, and it can headshot. Like...
And it travels way faster.
It's way faster. And it's much larger.
His ult charges faster, and his ult is not destroyable and almost impossible to block or absorb.
And, you know, this is what, you know, a lot of people always give me weird looks when I'm like, yeah, Hanzo's just a better Junkrat. But he really is. Like, there's a reason that Hanzo is used for shield break. Like, because he has really good shield break despite being a sniper. It's
all because of Storm Arrow.
It's partially because of Storm Arrow, but it's also just because he has a, you know, he can spam 125 damage projectiles. So,
yeah.
But, I mean, I think going back to the main tank thing, I think basically we just need something. We don't need something that does something entirely new. We just need. I think actually we need more a character that does something that is a variation on something that one or more other characters already do. So
yeah, I would agree.
I'm saying so, sort of like, I know a lot of people gave like Orisa shit because she was like just a big kind of thrown together mess of a bunch of like variations on other heroes' abilities. But I think that's exactly
her for that.
Yeah, I liked her for that because it meant that she is like another option, right? And
she is overpowered on paper. Like, on paper, when you read about Orisa, you're like, what the hell? Like...
Yeah, I mean, she's overpowered on paper, but in practice, not so much. It's very much one of those like sort of Junkrat sort of situations.
Bastion situations.
Yeah, also a Bastion situation. But yeah, no, I mean, I think we need something that has some sort of variation on anti-heal. I think that's probably the biggest thing we need right now. Is there anything specific in terms of abilities you think the game needs right now, Ian, from a tank?
I mean, honestly, I think it just comes down to adding another barrier, which I don't like saying that because there's already enough barriers, I think.
Yeah.
The barriers are just so, like, uncontested in their utility.
Yeah.
That I don't even know what you could utilize that would, like, fill that same role without just being another barrier. But honestly, we just need more barriers because barrier tanks as they are, I think, are fine. We just need more options so people like me don't get exhausted playing Reinhardt and Orisa all day, every day.
Yeah.
I love those heroes, but playing them all the time can get a bit exhausting.
Maybe you should pick up Symmetra.
I mean...
Ugh, I don't think I ever could.
Oh, God!
Oh, my heart.
No, I think a good place to start, though, is this idea of, like, a barrier that shoots things. I think that's like a good basic idea for something that we could get from Hero 31.
Yeah, I could totally see that being what they do. At the same time, though, I feel like adding a new barrier is like the simple, logical solution to the current problem of not having enough tanks. But Blizzard never really goes for that. They always try to come up with something more creative and more interesting, more unique.
Yeah.
And that's not to say I think they're going to add the wrong thing, but I feel like they're going to surprise us with something that we're just completely unexpected.
Maybe something as oppressive as Brig was when she came out. Who knows?
God, please no.
I hope not.
That's
God.
like some of that Oppressor Mark II shit from Grand Theft Auto 5 when that thing came out, man. It literally broke the game, and everybody was like, "Oh no, it's fine." Yeah, no, it's not fine. And now look what they did to Brig. Well, they didn't do that to the Oppressor Mark II, but look what they did to Brig.
Oh,
She's
God.
now poo-poo.
Yeah, it's not a fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you can't even smack people with your noodle anymore. Like, oh wait, this Ash is standing still. I can kill her.
Yeah, exactly, right? That's sort of how it works.
Yes, I smacked her with my noodle and she died. Oh, the Hanzo one-shot me.
Oh.
Wait, how's that possible? Oh, he was damage boosted. Okay, there we go.
But, yeah, I'd say that more or less sums up that situation.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we wanted to cover before we finish? Yes? No? Zach?
Awkward silence.
Well, I guess. Just out of curiosity, which of the known sort of like Overwatch story characters who aren't heroes currently, like which of those do you guys want to see be heroes?
Farah's dad.
Maximilian.
Okay.
All in on Farah's dad.
Sam? Yeah.
Yeah.
Canadian.
Oh, right. Yeah, I think Sam's a really interesting character, and I definitely feel like they have plans for him.
Oh, for sure. There's not yet one of my people, so Canadian would be a very good thing.
I desperately want Maximilian, I'll be honest with you. Like, the amount of which I want Maximilian as a hero is staggering.
Yes, I know how much you like him. He's very likable as a character, even though he's, like a piece of shit.
He's
Yeah.
he's just like the exact type of character I feel like I'd love to play. Like,
He'll have like 200 health, though.
yeah, but he's like this. The personality is just, I love it. It's just too perfect. I'm not sure what they would actually do with a character like him, but
he's
Yeah,
a
that's the
mafioso,
problem
so-
I see.
yeah,
If he's not a summoner, he's going to be very bizarre.
yeah.
It may
I
be hard
agree
to-
that he should be a summoner. I think that's probably the best they could do. Because I mean, the game kind of needs that, anyways.
Oh my god, that would be really interesting to implement. I guess like the AI of those summoned NPCs couldn't be too good, but maybe like 3 stupid 200 health people, like that's not too bad. You see how easy they are to kill in Uprising, so
Yeah, I mean, I've been working on a concept with Maximilian for a while now. I just need to finish it, but yeah. I guess we don't have anything else to say. I guess the last I guess the last thing we should just note is why Jazz isn't here.
oh yes, of course.
That's important
Yeah,
to
we should
note.
probably touch on that.
Yeah. Basically, Jazz is indeed around, but she's in Italy right now. She's going to be there for the summer.
She has gone to my home.
Yeah, same. So basically, she'll be able to come in every once in a while during the summer, but we're probably going to have to either get a lot of guests on, or we could get Diego. I mean, Diego works too.
Yes. I don't think that your community will be too strongly opinionated. Obviously, jazz is a very important part of our curriculum, but Ian has mended the void effectively, I think.
Yes, indeed. We need Jazz organizes for us, but at least it's still viable.
Yes, it's still viable. It's we're not goats, but we're pretty close. We're snoats.
Yeah, we're snoats. But yeah. So I think that's it. One last call. Anything anyone else wants to say?
Rework Brig, Nerf Hanzo. Yeah.
The rework Mercy, rework Bastion, the whole shebang-a-bang. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we need someone on rework Brig. I haven't seen anyone making any big efforts with
I've
that
been
yet.
trying to, but
Me too.
it's like, what am I
It's
supposed to?
rough.
Because it's like I have to focus on rework Bastion, and Zavi has to focus on rework Mercy. Like, what do we do with Brig?
We need to find someone new to take on this mountainous challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
And someone with more devotion than me. I'm primarily a Mortal Kombat player, so I don't want to be spending 10 hours a day crying over the fact that Brigida's shit. But Deck, She's all right. She's really oppressive in the right combination of heroes, especially at higher. Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
So is literally every other hero.
So yeah, exactly. Like Torbjorn is overpowered in Grandmaster. Like, don't come give me any of that bullshit. Like, come on. Like Briggs, pretty little Swedish face is anemic. Yeah, she cannot survive anything. She will not kill you with her tickle noodle, and if she does, then like, come on, back up. Like, maybe you shouldn't have been so close to the bitch with the shield bash.
Did you see that tweet that I sent out? It was like
so good.
Brigitta's the only hero who literally tells you how to counter her. Like,
link to Astro's Twitter in the description, along with the Discord and all of the community links that you need to become a part of our group. Also, a link to Lord Beautiful Regal King Master Ian's YouTube channel, which you're probably already subscribed to. But in case you're not, subscribe to him anyway, because he really deserves your love.
Yes, of course.
Well, thank you. And thank you for having me on once again.
Yeah, no problem.
Always a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure to have you.
What a sweetheart. Oh, Astro.
Yes.
Please, say your stupid ending catchphrase.
Okay. Well, with that said, Godspeed to you all, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.